Okay, so we are continuing with our amazing teachings of Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, and we're learning the Sefer Sichot Haran. And tonight we're going to be learning about something which is very controversial. I think it's controversial in the world, and it's also controversial in the teachings of Rebbe Nachman himself. And it's going to be connected to something called the law of attraction. Okay, so we can title this class that does Judaism believe in the law of attraction? Is this a Jewish value? And I can already say that the answer is no. That it's very anti-Jewish idea, and I think it's very appropriate that we're learning about this on New Year's Eve, because people are talking about I'm going to manifest my best 2026. So we have to make sure that whatever we're doing it in a kosher way. And we don't want to, out of desire for a better reality, to fall into the trap of a desire, or a trap into some kind of heretical stance when it comes to our relationship with creating our future. Okay, so this is the topic is Sichot Haran, Torah Samach Beis. We're skipping a little bit over Samach Aleph, but we're going to get back to it, B'ezrat Hashem. And so this is chapter 62 in Sichot Haran. And so I want to start with a little bit of background. So this concept of the law of attraction, it became famous in 2006. There was a movie by the name of The Secret, written by Rhonda Byrne. Okay, so this is where it became a popular thing all over the world, this concept of law of attraction. And it was based on the teachings of a guy named Wallace Wattles, who wrote a book called The Science of Getting Rich in 1910. And she was very based on the teachings that he brought for us in this book. So basically, some of the basic ideas that he spoke about, that is number one, that thoughts are creative forces. That when a person thinks something, so that creates something, and it forces a certain thing. So if a person thinks specific thoughts about being rich, so then that's going to create his riches. He's going to create his wealth. He's going to create a reality in which that thought actually takes place, actually realizes, actually actualizes. Okay. Idea number two: the universe responds to mental images. Okay, that once you have a thought, so then now there's differences between the way that Byrne spoke about it and the way that Wallace spoke about it, and that Byrne spoke about as this law, as this the reality of the world, that wealth is governed by laws, and the law is that a person that has the thought of wealth, he receives the wealth, and so if a person wants to be rich, so he should think about being rich. He should think about abundance. He should think about he should imagine himself being rich. He should imagine himself at being happy being rich, and he should. And he does speak about you have to do stuff, which is something that it's not clear to me. I didn't spend so much time researching exactly what everyone says, but I've just got just a basic picture of this idea. So there is some idea. I don't think anybody thinks that it's enough just to think and just stay at home. But once you do something basic, so then the universe will respond. Okay? Actually, Wattles didn't speak about the universe. He spoke about this formless substance that was some form of God. Okay, not our God, but some form of God. Whereas Byrne didn't even want to use that. She wanted to make it just more universal, just the universe. In AA they also speak about the universe, right? So it's more universal thing. Anyway, the God is already a religious term, and so Wattles also he speaks about the fact that there's a law, that there's a law governing wealth, that the only way to receive wealth is that if you think wealth. Not only that, but the law dictates that when you think about wealth, then you will receive wealth. This is a law. Okay, so this is the idea of the law of attraction, that the world is governed by a certain law, that if I think good things, then I will attract good things, and that's the way to succeed in life. The way to succeed in life is to have good thoughts. If I have good thoughts, and if I have the thoughts of abundance, thoughts of wealth, thoughts of anything that I want to manifest in life, so that is the way to accomplish it. Okay, so what are the basic issues with this approach. Okay, number one, first and foremost, this is apikorsis. Okay, this is absolutely heretical. Okay, neither Wallows nor Burns speaks about God as in the way that we think about him, and they talk about either this, like I said, this formless substance, or the universe, which that is like, even if you would use the word God, it was not the God of the Torah. It's not the God of the Jews. For example, that there's a like it's somewhat reminiscent of what Spinoza would speak about, like a pantheistic God, that the universe is the, like, Mother Nature is the God, and like that it's somewhat reminiscent of that, but that's apikorsis. That's heretical. That's absolutely not the God that took us out of Egypt. That's not the God that answers your prayers. That's not the God that we're connecting with and we're serving. This is not the God of Judaism. This is not the God of the Torah.
It's like the Elohim aspect.
No,
like Mother Nature.
No. I don't think Elohim is Mother Nature. I think Elohim is a relationship as well. I think Elohim is a relationship that a person does. It's midas hadin, but it's not. Even Elohim, that the creation of the world, was Vayamar Elohim Yehiar. Like we use the word Elohim when it comes to the creation of the world, which is certainly above nature. The yesh me'ayin was certainly so it's certainly, but certainly we believe that there is a personal God. There's a relationship with God. These are things that don't exist. These are things that don't exist in the world of Byrne, the world of Wallows. And so even if we're going to find, and we will going to find, like when we read this, when we read the piece in Sichot, we're going to find things that sound similar to these concepts. But I wanted to put on the table that this is apikorsis. This is absolutely, again, that there's no room for God. There's no room for God in such a picture, in the way that they form the picture. And so to use the word law of attraction, which is a word that these people coined, so a person can never say, I believe in law of attraction, because it's a word, it's a term that was made from a place of heresy, from a place that doesn't believe in God. And so it's like saying that I was talking to a Christian, and a Christian told me that Christians believe in love. And so I'm Christian because I believe in love. That's nonsense. So just because there's one thing that connects you with them, that doesn't, if you're saying I believe in X, so then you have to check what exactly that means. So to say that I believe in the law of attraction is a proclamation of heresy. Okay, so you should know that if you research where these concepts come from, so they come from a place of heresy. These people did not believe in God. They believe that there's a law that governs that if you think about wealth, then you're going to become rich. And it's irrelevant if Hashem wants. It's irrelevant if you follow the mitzvahs. It's irrelevant if you're a good person, if you're a bad person. It's relevant if you're daven. It's relevant. Nothing is relevant. It's just if I desire wealth, then I receive wealth, and that is a law. Okay, so that is a mentality that doesn't leave space for Hashem in this picture. And that's why, number one, the biggest problem with this, and this is enough. We could really stop here and say the law of attraction is absolutely not a Jewish concept. I want to add, however, that there's another two elements. First of all, a moral element, and that is that according to the law of attraction, so a person that has an unfortunate life is to blame. Okay, according to the law of attraction, if you're poor, that means that it's your fault because you're attracting poverty, because you're thinking negativity, you're thinking with the mentality of poverty, and that's why you're poor. Okay, so like shape up, just like stop whining, stop davening. It's your fault. It's your fault. You're just being stupid because you have a mentality of poverty, and that's why it's happening. For the same price, so anybody that was, like, if I say this now, everybody's going to be on my side. So a person that was sexually assaulted, it's because you attracted sexual assault, and you were thinking negative thoughts. And if you would have thought thoughts of safety, then you would have been safe. And if you would have thoughts of getting the job, then you would have gotten the job. And the reason why you didn't get the job is because you thought bad thoughts. So a person, this mentality brings a person to constantly be in blame. And like, first of all, like, I don't know what's worse, the fact that a person is going to go blaming themselves for everything, or the fact that they're going to go around blaming everybody else. they're just as bad. Just like it's very messed up to say that when things don't go my way, so it's messed up to always say that like I'm at fault. Like I was in a car accident, chas v'shalom, so it must be that I attracted car accidents. Because if I would have been attracting safety, then the universe would have given me safety, and that's like that's very messed up. It's very messed up to blame myself. For somebody else's avera, for somebody else's immoral act. So that's and all the more so if I'm going to go down the street and see all the homeless people and say, you guys are so dumb, you guys are so bad, you're causing this to yourself, it's all your fault. That's just like a little compassion. Come on, like this. So first of all, from a theological place, this is very wrong. Second of all, from a moral place, this is very wrong. And third of all, that the world of manifestation is extremely egotistic. It's because it leaves God out of the picture, so it makes a person very egotistic. I had a student at Nvei many years ago that she was into this. She was into manifesting, and the piece that we're going to learn tonight, B'ezrat Hashem, it always bothered me. But if you read it at face value, it seems to say what these people say. Right. And so I told her, you should know that read this piece in Sichot Haran. It seems to say this concept of manifestation. I was listening to some something she posted, and she was like, it was so hard to listen to. So she was saying that. So you're saying that first of all, I want to tell you how I manifested my husband this year. But it's not just that I manifested my husband. I manifested the kind of husband that I needed, and it was like whoa, aren't you forgetting somebody? Are you sure that you manifested your husband okay, Baruch Hashem, okay. I asked you. I owe you guys an apology. I was sure that you were getting drunk. So we're talking about manifestation. You believe in law of attraction?
I think so.
Okay, so you missed the important part. Okay, manifestation is first of all it's heresy. Second of all, it's incompassionate and immoral, and third of all, it's egotistical. Okay, so besides that, you're good, right?
Thanks.
This is like basic problems. This cannot work. This cannot work. So even if there's going to be some similarities between things we find in Torah and things that they said in law of attraction, but I just want to make very, very crystal clear that Torah does not believe in law of attraction. Now, what's very fascinating to me is the both Byrne and Waller's, they both speak about gratitude. They both speak about gratitude and as something which is a critical piece of the law. This is a part of the law, that the law is that if you have gratitude, then you get abundance. And so it's such a shame that now they say it in different ways. Like in the world of Waddles, which is once again it's like almost 100 years earlier. That in the world of Waddles, so he says that it causes you to focus on the abundance, and when you're appreciating, then you're focusing on what you have, and which is the good stuff. Like when you're whining, when you're complaining, then you're focusing on your lack. So that makes sense. Now it does make sense. I'm just saying why, because gratitude is a Jewish thing. I'm totally pro gratitude, and in the world of Byrne, so she says that it raises your vibrations when you have gratitude. So then, if I just say I believe in wealth, I believe in it, then you're giving little vibrations. But if you say I appreciate the little stuff that I have, then it accentuates your vibrations that you send out to the universe, and then the universe, as a law, it sends you back those same vibes of abundance and wealth. Okay, so
That doesn't
So
make sense to you?
it just bothers me. It's a shame that they were so close. They were so close because I was meeting with a different Navega years ago, and she was telling me how she starts her day. She starts her day with 10 minutes of gratitude.
That's a lot.
And so she was into meditation. She was into this stuff, and so then I asked her, just tell me something. To whom are you grateful?
Yeah.
Like what are you? And she said, "Wow, I never thought of that." it was like to her like she was obviously I had no idea. Like this was years ago. This was probably like almost 10 years ago. But like I hadn't studied this ever. She was a spiritual person, and this is a very common thing to have gratitude as a spiritual person, as a spiritual tool is a very common thing in New Age, and so she was into that, but it was such a profound thought. Like, wow, what does it mean to just be grateful? If I'm grateful, I must be grateful to someone. And that's God. That was so eye-opening to her that if I'm grateful, that means I need to bring that to the natural next step, which is that I'm grateful to Hashem. I'm grateful to the source of all the abundance. So it's very sad that they were so close. They were talking in a lexicon that would be very, very facilitative to bring a person to God, and yet they left him out of the picture. And not only did they leave him out of the picture, they made it into a very self-centered universe, very self-centered mentality, that it's all about me, and I am the one deciding my future. Okay, so now
fits with free will.
It does not in any way, shape, or form.
No, for free will means that if you want to kill somebody, that you can kill somebody. Free will doesn't mean that Hashem is not in charge. Hashem is deciding that it's very clear that we believe that on Rosh Hashanah, and not New Year's, and Rosh Hashanah, so that Hashem decides how much wealth you're going to have, and how much wealth you're going to have. So it depends on a lot of things. A lot of what it depends on is
not religious.
If you ask for it, if you deserve it, if you and to say that God doesn't have a say.
If you're not religious, then you're not using the correct, let's say, channel. Mm-hmm. You're using other channels. Hashem still created those channels.
Did he?
Yeah, maybe
did he?
But
did he? Maybe that was just some invention of some screenwriter. Byrne didn't even have doesn't have any background in philosophy and theology. She's just a movie writer.
Right.
And she convinced the entire world of this garbage just because it was a good movie. I don't know if it was a good movie. I didn't see the movie. But apparently the world knows about it because of her. And The Secret. From 2000.
I tried to watch it and I couldn't, to be honest with you.
Why couldn't you?
It was intolerable for me.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that it doesn't exist. This is not. We're going to get to what channels do exist, but to create this law out of nothing.
She didn't create it. I'm saying it already existed.
It existed. It existed. Channeling. She's vibrating. So no. The idea existed before her.
Right.
But those people also weren't reliable sources. They were just saying their conjectures, and they certainly didn't have the basis of Torah.
Of course.
They were just promoting their projections. They were promoting their whims and their desires, and saying it in the very self-confident tone, and calling it a law. That always makes it more. If you want to convince somebody of something, so call it a law, and then you get the world to believe you. And that's she succeeded to get this idea to be world famous, but that doesn't mean that it's worth the paper it's written on. Okay, so now I want to just clarify a little bit deeper why this is so antithetical to what it means to be a Jew. And that is that the something that I think we've spoken about before, And that is the greatest difference between believing in Hashem and worshipping Avodah Zarah. Okay, so in Avodah Zarah, so let's say that you're in some Indian pagan tribe, and you want rain. So what do? You do a rain dance, right? So what if you do a rain dance and Nebuch, the rain doesn't come?
Very, very Breslov of them.
So what do you do? What happens? What should be your next step?
Dance harder.
You dance harder. I mean, you do it again. It means that it must be you did something wrong. In the world of Avodah Zarah, this rain dance brings rain. So if you did the rain dance and you didn't bring the rain, so there's only one conclusion, and that is that you did something wrong. There was some mistake in the experiment, and you did one of the dance moves was a little bit off, and you did the sacrifice a little bit off. You did the incantation a little bit off, and that's why there's no rain. But in the world of Avodah Zarah, you do the Avodah Zarah, you get the result. Okay, that's the way it works. Now, in the world of Hashem, so then it's something else, that you are not in control. You do not decide if you're going to have rain or not. Hashem is going to decide. That means you could do everything right. You could be a big tzaddik. You could daven with so much kavanah, and Hashem is still not going to bring rain. Now, there was a very horrible tragic story in 1994. There was an Israeli soldier, a religious soldier. His name was Nachman of Breslov, and so he was taken hostage by Hamas, and so his mother got on public radio on Friday afternoon, and she asked the entire Jewish people to light an extra candle for the merit of her son, of Nachman of Breslov, and everybody, it became a big thing. Everybody was very, very into this, and everybody did this, and a couple of days later, so there was a rescue operation, and tragically, the rescue operation failed, and Hamas murdered him in the midst of the rescue operation, and he was killed. He was murdered, and now there was a horrible. It's disgusting. It's worth it to be religious just so we don't be so obnoxious like this secular journalist. That there was a secular journalist that was anti-religious, and she was speaking to Nachman of Breslov's mother, like soon after this tragedy, and there was interviewing that Mrs. Waxman, and she asked her that you made a whole big deal on public radio, and you told everybody to pray for your son and to light a candle in the honor of the merit of your son, and your son was still killed. Where was your God? And he was doing it from a place of mockery. It was a very, very horrible thing to do. But she was a very, very strong lady. She is a very strong lady, and she said something so powerful, so profound that I think this is the expression of what it means to believe in Hashem, what it means that monotheism, what it means that there is a God. So she said that Hashem is our Father, and sometimes a father can say no. Now, there's no question where was Hashem. Hashem is a father is allowed to say no. And this is the greatest difference between monotheism, between Amunah, and paganism, and Avodah Zarah. And so the concept of that there's a law, that I can control my wealth, I can control what's going to happen, I manifested my husband, that is the opposite of Amunah. There is no such thing. There's no room in Judaism for I manifested my husband. Yes?
So, but if at the end of the day, if Hashem is our Father and He could say no, then what's the point of us even praying if He's going to make the decision regardless?
Because prayer is one of the things that affects His decision. But to say that it's a law goes against the fact that there's a God. Right? The fact that there's Hashem is the one calling the shots, Hashem is the one deciding our destiny, and there's no room that for anything that's going to be considered a law. Okay, so now, with that introduction, so now let's read what he writes, and we'll decide what he might mean, what he might not mean, and it needs to be crystal clear before we start that whatever he says, he can't mean that Hashem is not in control, right? Okay. That people have amazing powers. It's possible that these should actualize through their thoughts the things that they think. Even when inflation, when things get more expensive, it's all because people think. It's all because of people's thoughts. When the thought is completely entangled in a certain thing, that a person is thinking that it should be a certain way. All of the different aspects of his thought, that the inner thought and the outer thought, that if every element of a person's thought is all focused on this particular point, if all of the elements of a person's thought are focused on this outcome, a person is not confused, a person is saying, there's no, maybe not, there's no like, yeah, but like, if not, I have plan B. There is no plan B, there is no possibility in your thought of a plan B. Through this, they make it, they actualize, they make it real. This is the hard word. That absolutely, it will be so. That it will be the way that he thought. Now he adds, that the thought needs to be in great detail. It shouldn't be general. A person needs to have great detail as to what he wants in his life, what he wants to. I don't want to use the word manifest. What he wants to bring into his life. If the person is just going to think general, yeah, I want it to be good. I want to be saved. I want to have a good life. I want to be happy. Like that. That's too general. That's not good. That's like thinking about it's like a vessel that it's not really finished. It's a piece of clay that like it doesn't know what exactly is this. I don't know. It's something. When you have just a wishful thinking without having something particular, then it's like he's comparing it to a kli which is not finished. A kli which is a vessel which is not finished. Okay. If a person is gonna think with a not clear thought, then he could make a mistake. He could manifest the wrong things. He could think the wrong things. And he says that this also works for learning Torah. If a person has a strong enough will, strong enough thought, it will happen. As long as your thoughts are very, very strong. He gives an example. The person is going to think, I'm going to learn the entire Shulchan Aruch. with the Shach, with the Taz, with the big Paiskim. I'm going to learn it this year. Everything. I'm going to be a master of halacha. Wow. You're going to think about the details. You're going to think about how I'm going to learn it. Because I make a schedule and I say, well, I'm going to do 5 pages a day. And then after doing 5 pages a day for an entire year, I didn't check him on this, then I'm going to finish the entire Shulchan Aruch. And really, really bring your thoughts into this idea, into this plan, with extreme strength, until your thoughts are mamish obsessed with this. You can do not just Shulchan Aruch, it's the same thing for Shas, the Turim, the Tanakh. You can learn Tanakh with this. Yeah.
When you do something scary, should you
think, okay, God is on my side, so I'm not worried?
When you say something scary, what do you have in mind?
Or should you actually actualize that, like, this is actually, like starting a business is scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, should you actually actualize and the risk?
Well, first let's figure out what he's saying, and then we'll get back to what we should actually do. Okay? So now he says, that there's a Gemara. The Gemara says that machshava ma'alas l'divrei Torah. Gemara in Sanhedrin, and he says, this is his own commentary. He says, Rashi says differently. Ma'alas mamish, that when you think something, that'll make it happen. Yes, this is Afa B'Shavashi Pirasham B'Makmacher B'Ninacher Afa B'Ken Ukach V'Losim Levar Davar Yosef Elo V'Elo Divin Kolachay. Okay, so this is Sichot Haran Samach Bez. This is Rebbe Nachman's treatise on manifestation. Okay, so now what the problematic word over here is that he says behechrach, but he seems to say that it will necessarily happen, which he can't possibly mean that. So I'm just going to completely ignore that. I'm going to say that he didn't say it. I'm going to say that it was something lost in translation, or maybe like he certainly spoke in Yiddish, and it was certainly written not by him. Okay, so I'm going to say that the word hechrach cannot mean, because that would make him a heretic. Okay, so I have enough. And I have enough faith in Rebbe Nachman that he would not say something which is completely heretical. He also wouldn't say something which is completely immoral. He also wouldn't say something which is completely egotistical. So I have enough faith that he doesn't believe that it's just that in the literal law of attraction that we know of today.
He was before the law of attraction came.
So right. Now he does say something in Likutei Moharan. He does say something in Kuf Tzamach Gimel. So he says the following. He says, "Da shemachshava yesh l'toikav gadol v'michazik v'gabe machshavto leis davar shba'adam yuchal lifal sheyakach." Over here, he doesn't say anything word about hechrach. He says, "Yucha." Yucha means he could. It's possible. It's possible to cause that such a thing will happen. Yeah, that sounds more kosher. V'afilu michazik machshavto ma'od sheyeh lo mammon. Now, there's two ways to read this. He says, "Afilu imichazik machshavta ma'od." If a person strengthens his thoughts a lot, shielo maman bevadai, that a person will certainly have money. He talks about like what he talks about abundance. Yelo, then he'll have. Now, so the word, I'm not sure how to read it. In my version over here, so it's clear that the comma is after bevadai yelo, that he will certainly have. I would prefer to make the comma after bevade, that you think that you'll definitely have money. If you think that you'll definitely have money, then, which is like you said, like without any wishy-washy thoughts, but maybe not. Like if you think maybe I'll have money, so then that's not going to do anything, right? But if you think I'll definitely have money, so that's going to do something. Now, but it doesn't mean that you will definitely have money, because to say you will definitely have money, that's negating Hashem. So that's why. So I think in the Likutei Moharan. So it's he also didn't write this, but at least I think he went through this. That he says that sheyela mamad bevadei, so yela, and this he also sings this in Likutei Moharan. He says this in a more what I think is a more parav kind of lashon. So now let's try to analyze what we could take from this and what is going to be the takeaway. Yes.
Maybe we're not to cover it now, but it seems like the manifestation from before is talking about think about it all like transcendental, but to a point where it's like insane, where you don't have to do anything, you just think it and do it, and it'll just happen. And it seems like almost our master is trying to say like steel yourself to make it happen.
Absolutely. That's certainly very true. Now let's go step by step. First of all, now there is one thing that Rebbe Nachman certainly believes in something which is a foundation of law of attraction, this is not the law itself, but certainly the law of attraction is based on an assumption that there is a reality to thought. There is a reality to thought. That is a very Jewish idea. The fact that thoughts are a reality, that is an extremely Jewish idea. That's something, you don't need Rebbe Nachman to say this, but Rebbe Nachman does say this. He says this in Tinyana, the second part of the Likutei Moharan, Nun Gimel, I'm reading, Godel Yikras Machshava Neidel Yati. He once told Rebbe Nachman that Nachman, this moment, I just finally realized how precious and how great a thought is. Ki machshava yikara ma'od, it's so precious, shenasim mizeh dvarim shlemim mamish, that from a thought, complete things are actually created, actually done. A thought is a reality. Okay, so this is certainly a Jewish idea. A thought is a reality. Now, why is this a very Jewish idea? So first of all, because there's mitzvahs and averos that have to do with thought. Hashem commands us what to think. That means that there's a certain, besides the fact that it's a physical thing, that a thought is actually a neuron. There's actually you can monitor with an MRI a person's thoughts, but it's a reality in a certain world, and we call this the world of thought, the olam hamachshava. And the fact that there's a mitzvah of thought, there's mitzvahs that have to do with thoughts. Okay, the mitzvah of emunah is a mitzvah of your thought. The mitzvah of loving Hashem. There's a mitzvah of loving every Jew. That there's a thoughts. Like a person that's walking down the street, loving every Jew. So his thoughts are a reality because he is fulfilling Ratzon Hashem. He's fulfilling the commandment of the Torah that I am filling my thoughts with love. And this is Hashem is commanding you to have thoughts. When I'm emunah is the consciousness of God. I'm walking down the street with the consciousness that there is a God. I'm conscious of the fact that Hashem is with me. I'm conscious of the fact that Hashem is deciding what's going to happen with me. That at that moment that I'm thinking about Hashem, so I am fulfilling Hashem's ratzon. There's a reality of my thoughts. Okay, the same thing, chas v'shalom on the other side. Right? There's a person can do averos with thought. If a person is going to make a mistake, a person is going to deny Hashem, a person is going to forget about Hashem, if a person is going to hate people, if a person can absolutely go against the Torah with his thoughts. Right? So this is as I think I've mentioned this at some point, that there was this very liberal Orthodox woman that she was giving a class how that in Christianity it's all about thoughts. Christianity it's all about beliefs, but Judaism it's about what you do. We believe in mitzvot. You do things, and so it doesn't really matter what you think. And she was saying this in order to be liberal. You can as long as you keep Shabbos, so it doesn't really matter what you think about God. And some more intellectual camps, more in the modern Orthodox academic world. So they believe in being Orthodox, but nobody's asked each other, do you really believe in God? And somebody told me that in modern Orthodox schools, they don't talk about God. They talk about halacha. They talk about that we follow halacha, but we don't talk about God. And I think it's a very tragic thing. And
no kid asks why we follow halacha?
No, they don't. That's what the Judaism believes. Judaism believes that we believe in Shachanach. Because if you don't believe in Shachanach, then you're a Karaite. I don't know what they say, but they don't talk about a relationship with Hashem. They don't talk about spirituality. Right. Okay, and so this is mamish. It's mamish heresy. It's mamish. No, the Haredi schools are actually very good. The Haredi schools there's a lot about Amunah. There's a lot about relationship with Hashem. This is specifically I don't know about how it is in Israel, but this is specifically an American modern Orthodox education, and it's really backwards. It's really the opposite of the truth, because really a person that has his head screwed on right, a person that has the right thoughts, that has the right Amunah, so then that is your ticket to Olam Haba. Person that has 13 principles of faith, so then those are the people that have a share in the world to come. Person that chas v'shalom, it doesn't have 13 principles of faith, so he's a heretic. That's one of the people that ein lo chelek l'olam haba. The person doesn't have a share in the world to come. That if you have, as long as you have your emunah straight, as long as your thoughts are straight, so then you have a share in the world to come. If you have all of your emunah straight, but you do every affair in the book. You don't keep Shabbos, you don't keep kosher, you murder, you steal, you lie, everything wrong. In fact, you do have a share in the world to come. You do have a share in the world. If you have emunah, then you do have a share in the world to come. You do every aver in the book. If you keep every halacha, you only eat bedatz. You don't use the erev. You're so super from me, but you don't really believe in God. You don't. So then you don't have a share in the world to come. It's mamish. So she's mamish backwards. She's mamish very, very off. It's very sad to think that to present Judaism in such a way is very, very off. So we absolutely believe in the power of thought. We believe that thoughts are a reality. We believe that when a person is thinking in a way that Hashem wants him to think, then he is fulfilling Hashem's will. A person is thinking in a way that Hashem does not want him to think, he is going against Hashem's will. And so, like in a spiritual sense, so when a person is thinking good thoughts, when a person is thinking Hashem's thoughts, then he's creating kedusha. He's creating a good angel. He's creating good vibes in this world. That's an absolute truth. And chas v'shalom, when a person is thinking bad thoughts, and a person is thinking thoughts of atheism, a person is thinking thoughts of heresy, so then he's creating evil angels. He's creating negative angels, dark angels, and he's filling the world with negativity. Yes.
Practically, how does one who grew up in the Western world purify their thoughts?
Oh, simple. Just think, Hashem, I know you're there. I'm conscious. It's not. It's as simple as that.
But they
Make it sound really simple.
Yeah. Life is as complicated as you make it. Yeah.
How do you believe in, not holding by the ear of doing all the mitzvot and not believe in Hashem? Like, who do they think?
Social pressure? I don't know.
Yeah, but where do they think it came from? They think that people just made it up? Like, where does it?
I don't really care. I don't really care why they think it. I know that the people exist.
Right, but
I don't need to do a psychological analysis of them.
It's from Hashem.
They just don't really believe in it. They do it because of some voice in their head. Or something they do it, and they think that they're very prim. They think that they're very holy, but So now I want to speak about another thing that Rebbe Nachman does allude to this. That Rebbe Nachman said that actually before this. So the first thing is that we do believe that there is a reality of thought. That there is a reality of thought. And now let's take this a step further. And that when a person thinks about good things, a person wants, Rebbe Nachman said clearly about what they call today abundance. Sheyela maman. In the Haran, he says a person thinks about having lots of money. That he will have money. Okay? So what is this? So what does this mean? This is very reminiscent of something we say in Chabad. That tracht gut wird sein gut. Okay, this is something that the Frierdiker Rebbe would say a lot. Apparently, the term first was coined by the Tzemach Tzedek, but it became famous by the Frierdiker Rebbe, by the father-in-law of the last Rebbe, and of course, the last Rebbe would say it all the time. Okay, so it became famous already in the previous generation. It became more famous in later generations. So, what does it mean? Tracht sein wird sein gut. If you think good, it'll be good. It means that optimism brings success. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that. Now once again, this is not a rule. This is just that one of the ways that Hashem runs the world is that if you're open to bracha, then you will receive bracha. Okay. Now I think this is actually it's very meduik in Rebbe Nachman himself. Rebbe Nachman in Sichot, he uses the term that that your machshav is like a vessel. It's like a vessel. And this is reminiscent of something that we learned in a class a couple of weeks ago about Bitachon. So he writes the same thing about Bitachon. The Bitachon is a vessel. That having trust in Hashem is a vessel to bring Hashem's salvation. It's the vessel to bring Hashem's Yeshua. So what does it mean as a vessel? It means that Hashem sometimes Hashem wants to bring you goodness. And it, according to His infinite wisdom, it would make sense for you to be very rich, but there's a problem that you're lacking the vessel. You're lacking the vessel. So what's it mean? What's it mean you're lacking the vessel? What's it mean lacking the vessel? So sometimes, when we talk about prayer, we sometimes talk about the fact that if a person just doesn't feel like I don't need Hashem, the person thinks like I'm good. I don't. So then you don't have a vessel. If you don't, Hashem wants to give you blessing. Hashem wants to give you blessing, but because you are refusing to allow Hashem into your life, so then you don't create a vessel. So Hashem can't give you blessing without a vessel. Yeah, but of course He could do anything, but He doesn't. One of the spiritual laws of the world is that if you don't present Hashem with a vessel, He's not going to give you usually. Okay, so one of those vessels is Bitachon. If you trust Hashem, then you have a vessel. So that once Hashem wills it to be there, so then once you trust Hashem is going to help, is going to have you to save you. So then you create a vessel. So positivity and hope. That's positive thinking. That's the thought of abundance. So this is creating a vessel that is going to allow Hashem's blessing to creep into your home, into your life. Okay, there's the Maggid of Mezrich. So he writes a very similar thing on the converse. He writes that the person that is full of anxiety, so he actually brings dinim. His words are he brings his mamshich dinim al atzmi. He brings dinim means judgment. Meaning if a person is always going to be self-critical, so then he's going to attract. He's going to attract negativity. He's going to attract judgment, strictness, deficit, lack. He's going to a person that's full of worries, full of whining, full of being full of doomsday prophecies. Then he's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and he's going to bring doom onto himself. Again, so the vessel, I think, is the critical term over here. The person's thoughts create a vessel, but only Hashem can bring the light. If there's no light, then the vessel is going to be worthless. So Hashem is going to fill your vessel with the light if He so decrees. But what Rebbe Nachman is suggesting is that if you want to allow this light to become present in your life, then you need to show up with a vessel. And what is the vessel? The vessel is the hope. The vessel is the positivity. The vessel is the belief that I do want it to happen. I believe that it can happen, and I can see it happening. Yes?
It sounds like what you're describing is the law of attraction. How is it different?
Because the law of attraction says it's a law. And I'm saying that what Rebbe Nachman is saying is that it only creates a vessel, but only Hashem can create a light. So there is no law. Just because I have a vessel doesn't mean that somebody has to fill my vessel.
I think my understanding of the law of attraction is just that, like, what goes around comes around, and I feel like that's what you just explained.
There is no what goes around comes around. There is what Hashem decrees can come, will come, and I'm adding on to that's rule number one, that whatever Hashem wants will happen. But rule number two is that Hashem creates this rule that even though He wants, it won't come unless you give Him the vessel. That's extremely different than what goes around comes around, because what goes around comes around is there is no God, and I'm the one causing things.
So it's a little bit of the law of attraction.
It's somewhat similar to the law of attraction, but he shouldn't call it the law of attraction. The same way that you, if you believe in being kind, that doesn't make you a Christian. Right? The law of attraction is heresy. Law of attraction is atheist. Law of attraction.
What was saying is that if you think about doomsday scenarios and always negative, then you bring it upon yourself. To me, that sounds like
you bring
dinim.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that sounds no different.
That's a mentality, that's a perspective.
No, but he's saying that it will actually happen to you.
It means that Hashem will be stringent on you. It means that if you think of Hashem as dealing with you with stringency, and you bring yourself into a mentality that Hashem hates me and it's going to be bad. Hashem can't help me. Hashem won't help me. Then Hashem is going to deal with you the way that you relate to Him.
I think it's very similar to the law of attraction. It's just the difference between the law of attraction and what Rebbe Nachman says is that the law of attraction doesn't have Hashem in it.
Right, but it's quite a difference. It's quite a difference. It's like saying that it's like basically a mannequin and a human being is basically the same thing. It's just that the human being has a soul, right? It's basically the same thing. So basically, you believe that humans are mannequins. It's just that it's a bit of a difference. It's a bit of a difference.
Well, we could say the same thing with the negative thoughts, right? That it's just a vessel, but Hashem could give a person kindness.
Right, of course. It's like, but the main factor is Hashem bringing the light into the world, and the vessel through which Hashem brings the light is through your mentalities. So that is true, and that Rebbe Nachman is agreeing that the more that a person has a mentality of positivity, then he's creating a vessel for that positivity. The more that a person is having a mentality of negativity, so then he is closing up his vessel. Okay, now A couple of points. Number one, that Rebbe Nachman, when he talks about thinking about this thing that you want, okay, let's talk about wealth. We want to be rich. Okay, we want to be rich. Okay, I hope everybody wants to be rich. Rebbe Nachman wanted us to be rich, and the Bav Rebbe wanted us to be rich. And it's one of the best things about becoming Hasidish is that in Hasidus we believe in being rich. We believe that it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have money, to have abundance, and so he says that we should think about it b'chitzenius v'pnimius. What does it mean b'chitzenius v'pnimius? So I think that what he means that the outer thought and the inner thought. So I think what he means is as follows: that the outer thought, meaning the superficial thought, is that the thoughts that you're aware of having. Okay, that means that when you think in your mind, I want to be rich, and even if you picture yourself being rich and you have an imagination of having this dream car and this dream apartment and this just being able to just go to any restaurant you want and whatever being wealthy would mean to you, and you have those. So those are outer thoughts. What does it mean the inner thoughts? What does it mean inner thoughts? So the inner thoughts is what we call core beliefs. It's core beliefs, and I think the core beliefs in this creating a vessel. So the core beliefs are even more critical than your actual thoughts, what Rebbe Nachman calls the outer beliefs. What's a core belief? A core belief. So this I heard about this from New Age people, but I think it's true that a person has a core belief that it's bad to be rich. If a person grew up very Litvish, and so they were told that if you want to be a tzaddik, you need to be poor. It's not going to bring you close to Hashem. The more that wealth you have, it's going to take you away from Hashem. If that's your core belief, so even if on the outside you're thinking, I want to be rich, but in your pnim, in your inner thoughts, you're shouting the opposite. So then that's not a good vessel. That's not a good vessel. So the core belief needs to be, first of all, that Hashem wants me to be wealthy. Right? What's another core belief that's critical to being wealthy? That I deserve to be wealthy. Right? If a person has a core belief that I don't deserve a good life, and that's where could a person get such a thought from? A person could have been told this by his parents. A person could have been told this by his teachers. A person could have developed this for himself because it's the way that he doesn't get disappointed. First, a person defines a philosophy that I don't deserve a good life, and that's why I should stop being disappointed when everything goes wrong. So a person could develop such a mentality. A person could develop such a philosophy, and so I have a core belief I don't deserve to be rich. So if a person has the thought I don't deserve to be rich, so that's a core belief. That's the pnimiyos hamachshava. So I could be thinking from today till tomorrow, I want to be rich, I want to be rich, I want to. But deep down, my pnimiyos hamachshava is that I don't deserve this. So then you don't have a good vessel, right? Then your vessel doesn't exist if you don't have the pnimiyos hamachshava as well. Okay, so a person should have a thought that Hashem, I want you to give me wealth. I believe that you can give me wealth. I'm imagining myself being wealthy, and I believe in the greatness and the goodness and the beauty of being wealthy. I believe in my deserving of being wealthy. So that such a thought can create a vessel that Hashem can fill up if He so decrees. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. Now, Hashem loves us, so why shouldn't He want to give us? So that's why, like, when He says bevadai, like, what He means is, like, unless there's something crazy, of course Hashem wants you to be rich. So, but that doesn't always true. It could be that you were destined to be poor, but objectively speaking, of course Hashem wants us to be rich. So that's why it makes sense to say bevadai. Maybe like even the word behechrach. I still don't like the word behechrach, but of course Hashem wants us to be rich. So if you want something good in your life, so of course it's to thinking positively. Now, so when we think of this, if this is the way that we're presenting Rebbe Nachman's idea, so of course there's zero place for egotistic thinking. of course, it's all Hashem. I'm just making the vessel, but Hashem is the one bringing the light. Hashem is the one bringing the bounty, the goodness into my life. So there's no place for egotistic thinking at all. That a person could never say, "I manifested my husband this year," and of course, there's nothing immoral about this. There's nothing immoral about this. Of course, Hashem decides. Hashem decides what's going on, and we can never blame anybody just because they didn't know about this teaching from Rebbe Nachman. So it's not their fault. Of course, it's Hashem who put them into the situation, and that we can never say that it's your fault that you're poor. It's your fault that you were molested. It's your fault that you died. It's that of course Hashem is the one calling the shot. There's no room for the blame problem with this moral issue with the law of attraction. Now, like we said, so in the world of Chabad, so we said there's a tracht good, verzan good. So the Rebbe himself, so we talk about that the people have two issues that they have. Number one, that they said the Rebbe, you're not being realistic. You're not being realistic, and to this he said that I beg to differ. That I think that because I believe in Hashem and I believe that Hashem can do anything, and like any Jew. Any Jew that believes in God believes that Hashem can bring goodness. So, like, what do you mean to be realistic? Is that I believe that Hashem is real, and I believe that Hashem loves me, and I believe that Hashem is capable of giving me goodness. So I believe it's very realistic to think positive. Okay, and the second critique that they brought to the Rebbe was that this is absurd, but they said the Rebbe that I don't think it's emotionally healthy. I don't think it's good for us psychologically, because if you think pessimistically, then you won't be disappointed. Then the way that I save myself from heartbreak is because even before I lose my job, I tell myself I'm for sure going to lose my job. So then when the boss calls me in and I lose my job, so then I'm not so disappointed, because like, okay, I can deal with that. If I was imagining, whoa, now I have a good job, then when he says, oh, no, then there's heartbreak. Then there's so now this is why is this so ridiculous? Because of course everybody understands that those people are the most depressed. These people that are always expecting that to lose they're killing themselves every day of their life, and like they don't need their boss to fire them. They're already broken. They're breaking themselves into crumbles even before they get fired. They've ruined their relationship even before the relationship falls apart, and their negative thoughts. So they actually make their own destruction even before it happens. To think that such a thing is emotionally healthy and psychologically healthy, that's certainly absurd. Last point. 1 second. After. So the last point is that in the second point of Rebbe Nachman, so he talks about something which is not what's called the law of attraction, what they call today vision board. Vision board, and this we don't have so much time, but this is something which is very real. This is what Rebbe Nachman says, that you should talk about bepirtei pratim. What bepirtei pratim means that you should think about exactly how it should happen, and this is something that I want to quote you something from the Sefer called Akedas Yitzchak. He was a Jewish philosopher from the 1400s. And it's the Bala Akedah. He's a very amazing sefer. He writes, Tzir hatachlis belev, that making a picture, picturing the end goal in your heart. Hapoyal yazmin v'yachin kol hamasim hamisyachsim la'aga'asei. It will bring about and prepare all of the actions that are necessary to bring about that goal. Umitziyusam, and their realization. V'yotziam elapal, and it will naturally bring that these actions will take place. So the Bala Akedah says that if you think about the tachlis, if you think about your goal that you want to have, so the more that you have your eye on the goal, the more that you have your eye on the thing that you would like to reach, so then that thought alone will bring about that the things that are necessary to make that happen. So you'll naturally, your subconscious will bring yourself to do those things that are necessary to bring about that tachlis. Okay, so this is something that this is not like you're controlling the world. This is something that this is like a biohack that you can cause your brain to work in the right way, because if you focus on the goal, so then your brain will naturally be working in order to achieve that goal. So this is something which is a real thing. That the more that our brain is built to solve problems. The thing is that our brain will only solve problems once we tell him what problem to solve. Okay? If you're thinking, if your core belief is that I'm a failure, so your brain will always be able to facilitate that goal, and it'll prove to you, and it'll make sure that I'm going to do the things which will make my thesis true. And if you give your brain a different thesis, if you give your brain a different goal, that I want to make it in life, I want to succeed, so then your brain is going to subconsciously give you the ideas that's going to bring you to, is going to put you into the situations, it's going to give you the confidence, it's going to give you the way of everything that's necessary. You're going to talk in a way that's going to convince people to support you. You're going to get investors. You're going to be able to present your idea in a way that's going to be attractive. Everything that's necessary to make a company, everything that's necessary to be a success. So subconsciously, your brain is going to help you to create those things because you were putting it on the right path, because you were thinking about the right goal in the right details, and this is certainly a real thing, that a person can hack his brain to think with what is the next step, as long as my goal is the right thing. Now, I said that I would speak about Samach Aleph, where we skipped. He writes that there's a thing in Chazal, in the Gemara, it says sometimes a person changes his mind, and he calls Hadribi. So Hadribi means I go back. So he says the word to go back, so that's the word for tshuva. The word for tshuva. So it means that the person had a misunderstanding of Torah, so he needs to do tshuva. Because if you said something wrong, in learning, so that means that you had a misrepresentation of Torah, and you have to do tshuva. You have to do tshuva for your misrepresentation. So all the people that misunderstood Rebbe Nachman, and they thought that Rebbe Nachman is promoting a godless universe where we are in control, chas v'shalom. So b'ezat Hashem, they were all did tshuva, and for us, so we will just remain believing in Hashem and allowing Hashem to bring out the best 2026 possible, and we'll just make our vessels, and our vessels will be filled with optimism and filled with positivity, and Hashem does love us, so He will fill our vessels b'ezat Hashem.